in chemistry, there's a table that's called the periodic table of elements. It describes the elements, the chemical elements that exist, and the atomic number, the mass number, or the mass quantity of the atom, and the chemical symbol for the element. For example, the chemical symbol on the periodic table of elements, you may have a capital R and a small u. That's the chemical symbol for the element that's called ruthenium. Ruthenium, capital R-U-T-H-E-N-I-U-M. That's the element. And capital R and a small u is the chemical symbol. You may also notice that they have a atomic number, and that's written under. And right now I'm teaching you how to read it by using names of people, so you can remember these. So you can remember these numbers. It's, for example, capital R and a small u is for the element ruthenium, but underneath the capital R and a u, you see a 44. The number 44 is the atomic number. The atomic number of an atom is the amount of protons in the atom, or in other words, the amount of positively charged particle that's positively charged. The number of them. So here, capital Ru, which is the chemical symbol for the element ruthenium, has 44 protons in the atom, or positive charged particles, 44 of them. And that's so. How do we remember the table of elements, the periodic table of elements that you see in the chemical books? I want to show you the table of elements right now. So if you see it, you know this is an old book. This is not an up-to-date table, but this is how it looks. See how it looks? That's the periodic table of elements. And if you see on the top, it says there, periodic table of elements. You see? See what I'm saying to you? The periodic table of elements. So you have the periodic table of elements, and then you have the letters. Like capital H is the chemical symbol for hydrogen. See? The capital L and the small I is the chemical symbol for lithium, which is the element. You see what I'm saying to you? And that's how you know it. And then you see the numbers on top of the hydrogen. You see number 1. See the number 1 on top of the H? Number 1. Then you see number 3 on top of the L and the small I. You see number 3? Number 11 on top of the capital Na. Those are the proton number, the positively charged particles of the atom. You see? This helps you know where in the periodic table you're going to see the element. Okay? So now you know. Okay, so how can you remember the periodic table of elements? Well, let's say you're not going to go to chemistry. Let's say you're just a person who wants to remember the elements and its symbols. Because if you take up chemistry, you'll discover that in chemistry, your teacher will teach you a different way to memorize the chemical symbols and the protons. Or positively charged particles of the atom. There's ways that these things are set up on a table of elements, or a periodic table of elements. You'll learn different from your teacher than you will here. Now, let's say you're not going to take up chemistry, but you want a method or a pneumatic device to remember these elements. Well, I can show you my way of doing it, how I learned how to use it. For example, let's say your name is Ruth, or you know somebody named Ruth. Capital R-U-T-H, Ruth. Well, we know that the Ruth is spelled capital R-U-T-H. Now, to write it down according to the symbol, the chemical symbol, to write it down according to the periodic table of elements, we got to rewrite this. So if you have Ruth, and let's say you're going to write the name Ruth normally. So you're going to put an R, a U, a T, and the H. That's how you will normally write the name Ruth. Am I right? But in the periodic table of elements, if you have two letters, like capital R and a U, like this, it's got to be changed to fit the periodic table of elements. How do we do that? Well, quite simple. When you have two letters to represent an element like ruthenium, it's capital R and a small u. The first letter is capital, like the R, and the second letter is a small case letter, like a U. That's how you write down the R and the U in the periodic table of elements. Okay, so Ruth, capital R-U-T-H. Even though you will write it with a capital R, a small case U, a small case T, a small case H. Here, Ruth will be written differently. You have a capital R and a small U, and you have and you have to take the T. Let me make it big, a capital P. This is a mistake here. That becomes a capital T. Excuse me, I miswrote this. That because it's capital T and a small h. So you got capital R, small u, capital T, small h. Okay? Now, what does a capital RU stands for? The element ruthenium. And how about TH? Capital T, small h. That stands for thurium. Okay? So, this is how I remember, by using names. So, if I want to remember the elements, you don't have to remember the atomic number in the beginning. You can just remember the chemical symbols. So I can just take my finger and I can just block the numbers. So Ruth will tell me that the element the chemical symbol, capital R and a small u, and a capital T and a small h, it stands for ruthenium and thurium. Okay. Now, if I wanted to lengthen my understanding of chemistry, I would add the atomic number, which is the amount of positive charged particles of the atom. Okay, called protons. And I put underneath the capital R and a small u, I will put 44. That's the number of protons, or atomic number of the atom. Then you got capital T and a small h, that's thurium, right here, capital Thorium. That's an element, and the chemical symbol is capital H and a small capital T and a small h for thurium. And so I put 90, because the protons, or positively charged particles of the atom of thurium, is 90. The atomic number. So Ruth is a good way to remember these atomic numbers and chemical symbols. But if you just want to begin to remember or study in chemistry or the periodic table of elements, I will block the atomic number, and I will just remember the atomic symbols. Capital R and the small u is for ruthenium, and capital T and the small h is for thurium. And that's how I remember it. This is the beginning. I know it sounds a little confusing to you, because this is the beginning study of it. For you who want to learn, the quickest way to learn this is through names. Okay, if you know anybody named Ruth, or anything, you have it here. Okay. Then you can take the TH out of Ruth. Take the TH out of Ruth and add SSO, Russo. The last name Russo. Okay, Russo. Okay, so you got capital R and a small u for ruthenium. We already see it up here, and that's 44 atomic number. Then you got capital S capital S, and a capital O. Now, what do we do here? The chemical symbol for S, the capital S is the chemical symbol for sulfur. See here, capital S, sulfur, capital SULFUR. Another S, you have another S here. The capital S is the chemical symbol for the element sulfur, capital SULFUR. And then you got the capital O for oxygen. Oxygen here, capital O equals oxygen, capital O, XYGEN. So the name Russo, okay? If you have a last name Russo, or anybody named Russo, this is how you would use this name to remember these symbols. You want to know the symbols for capital R and a U being ruthenium, or capital S being for sulfur, or capital O being for oxygen. This is a good way to learn it. Okay, let's say you go to chemistry class, and you cannot memorize all these chemical symbols or atomic number. Then you pick a name, any name, and you're able to remember them, and you have it. See, so Russo is 44 atomic number, 16 for sulfur, and 8 for oxygen, and all these are atomic numbers of the other elements. Okay, I want to cut it short here, so now you know. Okay, if you feel confused, let me know in the comment. Okay, and I'll try to make it easier for you to understand. But I think you understand me, right? All right. So that's how it is. Hey, so if you want to put Baby Ruth, the candy, you have to look for the symbol capital B, A, and then capital B and a small a, capital B, and a capital Y, and then put Ruth, and you got the candy, Baby Ruth. If I can write it here. The candy, Baby Ruth. Okay? You got Ruth, you got the candy, Baby Ruth. Okay, you got the BA, you got the capital B for boron, capital Y for yttrium. You got BA, I think that's for barium. Or beryllium. No, that's for barium. And barium, boron, and all that. Okay? But I'll do this some other time. Okay? But Ruth. Baby Ruth the candy. So we know that Ruth is 44 and 90. Capital R, small u, capital T, small h. So we know what that is. We know what that is. We write it down here. And there you go. That'd be 44. This would be 90. And so on. And 39 for yttrium, 5 for boron, and you get the point, right? I want to rewrite this again, okay? Baby Ruth. You got Ruth right here. See, 4490 atomic number. All right. So that's how you do it. Okay, I'm gonna leave this video go now. So over and out. Bye bye.